introduce Deb Tuggle.
Nice.
Thank you, Joe. There's been a lot of cookie sampling over the last 18 months. That's
And
what we've
the
been.
gain 5 pounds.
That's what we've been doing. Is just having a lot of R&D and having fun. But it's really good to be here today, and I'm so honored to be able to speak about what I love so much. It's huge for me. I am Deborah Tuggle. I own a small business here in the city, and I employ right now about 17, 18 people. We have the privilege of only working Monday through Friday, and what's great is that we believe we make the best product on the market. We really believe that. We don't say it. We believe it and we live it, which is great. I've been producing cookies for about 18 years. I'll give you a little bit of my background, and then perhaps we'll have a question and answer. I think that's always great because there's always questions that people have that I may not think to speak on, and that way the table will learn a little bit about what I'm doing, and it will give more information, I believe, if there's things that I just don't remember to speak on. But started business about 18 years ago. I baked my way through school. I was in college. I was actually going to Bates Technical College and their court reporting program. And there was a teacher there that baked cookies on Fridays. And they were really good. They were pretty good. They were pretty good. But it was fun. Everyone looked forward to it, right? So I was a single parent living in Paulsbo, and I needed some help going to school. I was a single parent, and I thought, wow, if I could make cookies. And I had a friend who kind of taught me a little bit about cookies some years prior to that. So I thought I could make some cookies and bake them on Fridays. So it was kind of a copycat. And I would sell them, and that would help either pay for books, gas back and forth, whatever I needed. And it really did work. It was awesome. But at the time, I probably didn't realize that I wasn't making any money. But in my mind, it was all good, right? You know how that is in business, is that I remember one of the first questions someone asked me was, how much does it cost you to make a cookie? And I didn't know. And then when you really find out those numbers, you find out that you're probably losing money all the way. And at that time, I'm sure, I don't know what the figures are now, but I'm sure that I was. But baked cookies all the way through school, had a great time doing it. Then I ended up doing an internship here in Pierce County for the Sheriff's Department and ended up staying for some years. I enjoyed that job so much. But then I knew that deep in my soul there was something more for me to do, and I just believed that perhaps if only I could make a cookie and really sell it and make a living. And I thought, I'm going to do this. I had no baking background, no business background, but in my mind and in my heart, I really thought it was possible.
So what made you jump over to the other side of entrepreneurship? Because you had a steady income, you were a single mom.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I'm going to go make cookies?
Right. By then I was married.
Okay.
And, but I did enjoy that job, but I just felt as though there was something more for me, just deep inside. And it's not easy to get to that place where you want to quit whether I was married or not, to leave an income that's steady to do something that you don't know whether or not that it's going to be successful. And in my mind, I thought I'd be successful in about 2 months. And people said to me, it takes about 5 years before you can pay yourself. And I'm like, not me. I'm going to be paying myself real quick. You have to remember you're talking to someone who knows nothing about business, nothing about baking, didn't know what it cost to make one cookie. But in my mind, I thought, I'm going to make this successful and make it work. I guess ignorance is bliss, and it was very blissful. It took me about 5 years before I was able to pay myself. But what happened was a group in Tacoma that I sold to came to me and said, hey, we're opening up this space on 11th and MLK. We're going to have space upstairs and retail downstairs. So living upstairs, retail downstairs. Do you want in? And I was like, sure, I want in. And they're like, well, how much square footage do you need? I said, I'm not sure, because I know nothing about baking other than in my kitchen. And he said, well, will 1,700 square feet work for you? And I said, sure, that sounds great. Not even knowing what that looked like. And at the time, I still had my KitchenAid that someone gave me as a gift because I knew I loved to bake. They built the space out, Our cameraman knows all about it. So do you, Thomas. You know all about it. On 11th and MLK. And one of the best stories I have about being in business is I had at that time some funds, not much, very little as a matter of fact. But I had heard that Costco on Pine, which is now the police station, right? They were closing. My friends worked there, and I said, what'd you guys do with all that bakery stuff? They're like, I don't know, we got all new stuff in our new store. And I said, hey, maybe I can get a loan or ask for some money and buy some of that equipment they have. So I went and I called their corporate offices, and they were like, oh, we're going to have an auction. It just never happened. I kept calling and calling. Finally, the guy said, hey, just go make a bid on those items, and we'll just kind of take it from there and see what you're willing to pay us. And I thought, shoot, Costco has some great stuff. And if I can get that equipment for $30,000, which would be the deal of the century, if I could get it for $30,000, I'd be so far ahead of the game, because they have really some of the best equipment, great ovens, great mixers. So I found my way at their old warehouse. They were closed, and they were trying to get everything out of there. The guy met me there. He was fantastic. And I said a little prayer before I went in, and I was like, oh, just speak through me, because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm going to negotiate for this stuff. And I really had no money, very little. So he says, what would you like? And I said, oh, I'd love to have your refrigeration, which was a huge walk-in. I'll take 2 of your ovens, which were walk-in ovens. I'll take all those pans over there. I take da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he says, so how much do you want to give me for these items? And I thought, shoot, if I say $30,000, that would be so cool if he would just honor that. And so I said to him, I'll give you $3,000. Well, I meant to say 30, but I said 3. And he goes, $3,000? Okay. So I bought my entire facility, and it's practically the facility that I use today. Right, exactly. It's practically the facility I use today for $3,000, and it got me started. So to be honest with you, I didn't even have $3,000, so I called my mother. And I said, you need to write a check right now, because they're going to change their mind, and it's all going to be over, or this guy's going to get fired. So she ran down there that day. Within 15 minutes, she was there, and we wrote a check. And it cost me $15,000 to have it taken out of there and put into the facility on 11th Street. But I was still so far ahead of the game, even at it was just amazing. So that's one of my fun stories to tell, that when it's for you, the doors will open. When it's for you, the doors will open. And in my mind, I could see this working for me. I never had a doubt. No business background, no bakery, didn't matter. I believed that it could work. I didn't know how that was going to happen, but that was a huge step for me, to be able to have a facility with everything I could possibly need. Didn't know how to use any of the equipment. As a matter of fact, when I opened up that space, I still used my little KitchenAid, because I didn't know how to use any of that equipment until I was trained. And I found someone in the community that showed me how to do it. Peggy Cinnamon Rolls, they were great. I don't know if you guys remember them, but they were fantastic in helping me out.
So you had a big Hobart, a big mixer, and you didn't know how to use it?
Didn't know. Didn't know that it was 3-phase. I didn't know what 3-phase meant. I mean, I knew nothing. But today I know a lot, and I'm so grateful for that. But that's how really I got started. And during that time, I saw some girls on one of the Seattle television programs. They owned a company called Bite Me Cookies, and I called them, and I said, hey, I want to do a cookie company. Would you help me? And they're like, yeah, we will help you not make the mistakes we made. And that was brilliant to me. That just really sunk in my heart, because it's like, wow, these girls are really going to help me, and they did. So it was 2 sisters started this company. This was about 1999 when I contacted them. In 2004, I ended up buying their company out. So that's why we own Bite Me today. So 2004, purchased Bite Me Cookies. Within 2 years, I had moved into a larger facility on Fawcett Street. Within 18 months of purchasing that business, I had tripled their sales. I learned something from her. It was very interesting. I had a little storefront where I would just beg people to walk in. I mean, they were going to Safeway, and I'd try and hand them samples. I mean, not Safeway, Subway, right next door. I would try and hand out samples. Come on in. And it wasn't too successful. We were able to stay there but we didn't have a lot of success with the storefront. But I noticed in this Bite Me company, she'd just get on the phone and start calling stores, and they were placing orders. She was having someone else manufacture for her, and I just thought, freak, I can get on the phone and call people. So when I bought Bite Me from her, with the help of my family, my mother helped me with that, I started calling the Whole Foods markets, because she was in Whole Foods already. She was in Metropolitan Market, and I started creating new designs and trying to really stay current with what else was in the industry as far as cookies and natural cookies with colorants. I mean, and within 18 months, we had tripled the sales. So that was fantastic. Friday's Cookies is still around. We still bake product and sell it in the grocery stores. Bite Me is much larger. We sell cookies all over the country. Currently, our capacity is between 14,000 to 17,000 cookies an hour. And it's so much fun, and they are all natural, and they taste phenomenal. So from that, being in business all these years, I still felt like up until a year and a half ago, I should be bigger. I should have grown more. What am I doing wrong? What am I missing here? I feel good about employing people in the community, but I believe that we should have been larger. And that's where Joe came in. So one of the things that I've recognized over the years is that you have to surround yourself with people who know things that you don't know. And people are so gracious usually that they are willing to just sit down and talk to you and give you the information that you need. And that is what's happened. And we now have a successful business that is doing well. And it's a huge blessing. And I don't take it lightly, not one day, that I was able to grow something so small, doing what I love to do, and now we are feeding people. People are actually taking this product and ingesting it into their body. I don't take it lightly at all. So now, if you have any questions, I'm open for that. And I pray that you have many, because we have some time, right?
You said starting out, you didn't have a business plan, didn't have a business sense.
Right.
So now you were going to buy someone else's company.
Oh, of course.
How did you price that, or how did you negotiate that?
That's a good question. So I had worked with these girls for some years. So I knew them, well, they were sisters. One got married, moved to Oregon, and so this other sister and I became very good friends. So I knew her, I knew what she was doing. I knew her numbers just because we were two people in business that needed each other. So we talked a lot. And she was tired. And she said, at one point, a year before I bought her company, she wanted to give me her business. She said, Deb, you're going to make it. I'm tired. I'm tired of having people manufacture for me. I feel like they're not doing a great job with my product, but I believe you can do this. And I said, oh, no, we're in this together, boo-boo. You're sticking around. Because I'd be lonely then. I needed her. It was a year later that she became very serious, and I said, then we will purchase this business from you. There was a purchase price, but one of my competitors found out she was selling. A local competitor offered her more money right on the spot. And I said, I'll tell you what, I will honor what they're offering you. And then there's no more negotiation after that. And she said, I want you to have this company. So there was no math behind it that's scientific. I did have an attorney involved, but I believed in what she was doing. Her products were fantastic. And I knew that I could, in my mind, that I could make it great. And that's what we did. So I almost hate to come out that way, that I can't give you the big spiel, or maybe that somebody would want to hear. I'm just speaking my truth, is that I knew her numbers. I knew what she was doing, and I knew there was some success behind it, but I believed that I could really make it grow, and that's what we've done. Yes?
One of my questions was, how did you deal with your mom? Because your mom was like a huge thing, at least from what you talked about. How did you kind of deal with that balance of like, man, I'm taking all this, how did your relationship with your mom kind of build you up, and like what was like the hardest thing, or like the hardships that you guys?
So I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My grandfather owned his own masonry company. My dad painted half of Tacoma. So I came from a family of entrepreneurs. So I had that spirit, but I was asking my mother to step in and help me financially when I have other siblings. And that kind of went into the whole, I guess if you can say respectfully, whatever she was leaving us. But she believed in me. She believed in me. My mom's the type of person that if I wanted to tie shoes for a living, she would support me. Just do the best you can do and make some money at it. And I'm going to help you along the way. So I had to be real cautious of that because, again, I had siblings, and I felt like I was invading on something that probably would have been left for them too. So what I have done today is I still honor my mother. So I pay her a stipend out of my business every single month. We have far paid her back the money that she has paid us, that she loaned us years ago, but I still will give her a stipend until she dies. So our relationship is fantastic today. But she worked for me for a while. I fired her about 10 times. She quit about 20 times. And then one day she said, I'm never coming back. She said, I will and it took her some months, but she did come back, but not to work. She hasn't worked for me since. But we get along very well. She's a strong, strong woman that believes in her children, and that's so huge.
Here's a question I have. You said that your whole family was entrepreneur. If they weren't entrepreneurs, you think you would have gone down that path?
I don't know. That's such a good question. I don't know, but I was able to see what working for yourself can do for you. There's joys in that. There's a lot of hardship. There's a lot of hardship. I've had a lot of sleepless nights. I've had a lot of tearful nights, but I wouldn't change that for anything in the world. I am where I'm supposed to be. I believe that I'm in my purpose today. Yes. So I don't know that I would, whether or not I would have gone that route, but I was able to have examples.
As a minority and a woman,
Sure.
like I am in business,
Yes.
how are you received by certain people that still find you or may think that your capabilities are not there? 'Cause that's
Happens
what
all the
happens
time.
to me. Happens all the time.
Happens all the time. Let's
That's what
speak
I
the
want to
truth
hear.
today.
Yes.
It happens all the
All
time.
Yeah.
So what I have learned to do, and this is pretty sad in the country that we live in, but it is what it is, I will send someone else. I do not go. I will speak to people on the phone all day long, but there are certain meetings that I do not attend.
Wow.
I've learned the hard way. I have learned the hard way. And that's okay. It is what it is, because if it's not me, it could happen to Joe. It could happen to Thomas. It could happen to any of us. But there are some situations that I do not attend, and I just don't. And for that reason, I've learned the hard way.
Well, in my situation, I have to go.
What type of business do you
It's
have?
Construction,
Okay.
a men's world.
That's
So,
tough.
And because we are in a state where, luckily, we understand the disparity between peoples.
Some do.
Well, the state is trying to have some goals be met. So basically, I have to go to these meetings, and I have to go with my crew to the field
Yes.
sometimes, and the reception is cruel.
Yeah.
It's sad for me that I find that I have to defend my position as an owner of a business. And when I have a crew that can pave the whole I-5
Yep.
if I was to get that job. But here I am still struggling
Right.
with the closeness of mind of individuals in construction that the moment they see me, it's like, let's crucify this woman, you know.
And
What does she know? What does she do?
right.
And it's a constant struggle because, like you said, it shouldn't be happening.
It
Not
shouldn't.
always.
Are you certified through the state of Washington,
Yes, I am.
OMWBE and
I
W?
have the
Okay,
SBE,
that-
the DVE,
perfect,
the
perfect,
MWBE,
perfect.
and I have also a certification from DOT, but it doesn't, I mean, I had some work jobs, and every single contractor tries to take away money from my portion. I mean, this is what really bothers me. They get to put money on top of my bid, so they're making money off of me, but when I do extras, they don't want to pay me.
So, what I have done in the past, I understand your struggle. Believe me, I understand it. I do not go. I do not go. And you're thinking, a cookie, really? I'm saying really. There are places that I just don't go. And I will send a fair-skinned friend of mine, and they will handle my business.
But you know, that was the comment that I heard, and it really bothered me because we come in all colors and shapes.
Of course we do.
We could be black or Hispanic. My husband is half Hispanic. He's blonde, blue-eyed.
Send him.
And this lady was making a comment. These people, like you and me,
Yep.
are sending these white people to do their job, these jobs, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Those are the,
Wait a minute. I have a grandson that is partly black, but he's fair. He's got green eyes. My daughter is red hair, white. And that's the other problem. She goes, she does drama. And they were doing a Juliet that spoke Spanish. She was too fair for that Juliet. So, damn if you do, damn if you don't,
Well,
kind of thing.
you know, I'll tell you, again, I respect your struggle and I have been there, but I have to rise above it. I have to rise above it. What I've chosen to do is send someone else. But even when I send someone else, in my mind sight, I don't think, I suppose it is in the back of my mind that I'm sending someone because of what could happen or how I've been hurt in the past. But I'm so far above that if it works or it doesn't work, I'm on to the next gig in about 10 seconds. Because otherwise, I would let that hinder me and keep me where I am today or where I was yesterday. So I have to rise above it, because no matter where you go, what you do, you're going to find people that just don't love your brown face. And that is what it is. You just go to the next victim.
Well, I just did a $654,000 job yesterday.
Yep.
I called, they didn't question my accent, and you know what is sad? You were born in America, I wasn't, I was born in a different country. And now I go back, and because I've been here for so many years, they look at me and say, you look like us, but you don't speak like us, and they charge more. They charge me more.
Gosh, and it's,
So,
and your industry I don't understand very well. I can only say that I do respect your struggle. I've been there, but I have to rise above it. That's,
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because it's just sometimes in life, you know, it's not fair, but you gotta realize that you gotta become better, not bitter.
right. Oh, that's good. Better, not bitter.
Yeah, you might as well just, like you said, just go on with it, and that's what business is all about, too.
Right. And if you have something that's good, people are going to use you.
well,
People will use you.
basically what I'm saying, yes, I don't care what they think of me. I don't care. What I'm saying is the consequences. My workers deserve the 40, the 60, the $60 an hour.
Sure.
So my position is, okay, I'm gonna do the next job. Will I get it? Will I not get it? It's a big process where
Right.
the low bidder gets to do the job. But what I find difficult is that this position, and I don't care to, I mean, I worked when I was 18 years old for a former first lady where I was born. So talking to somebody doesn't mean anything to me. I will speak to whomever it is. What I find very difficult is what this person said. Now you're sending these white boys in the field to do the job.
That's just a
So
form of ignorance.
you're using people like, you know,
But
this
it-
person was speaking, and to me was, again, don't you ever judge the book by its cover.
Of course not. But it will happen again and again, and we just have to keep it moving.
And we have to prove that we are capable of doing the
And
job,
that's one
and we
thing
are.
I will say in my industry as well as yours, I'm sure, if you take a gig that you cannot produce or can't do a great job and you get the gig, people will never forget it. So you have to be on top of your game. I have to put out product that is better than the next guys, because what it doesn't mean, it's not because I'm black or white, or it's because you have to perform.
Right.
And if you can't perform, if it's a job that's too big, don't feel weird about saying, you know what, not this time, but next time I'll be able to take that one on or do that contract. But that's, I mean, in terms of what you're saying, again, I understand, but I believe that get better, not bitter, is fantastic.
Have you ever been challenged in your capacity of making, I mean, you're making 17,000 cookies an hour, whatever you said.
That's our capacity, yes.
Yeah, you know, it's like, for me, I just laid 3,500 tons of asphalt
Okay.
in Lakewood. We
Okay.
did the entire Sound Transit parking lot.
Okay.
The challenges that I see is that they see me at the meetings and they question my ability
Sure.
to do that job.
That's okay.
So-
you just laid 35 tons.
Yes,
So
we
you
did.
know what your ability is, and they can question it as often as they choose, but you know what you're capable of. And that's what you speak. You just speak your truth. I know what I'm capable of. Here's an example. We just laid 35 tons of asphalt in Lakewood. So you have to use those examples to move you forward. Anything else?
So I know a lot of entrepreneurs, there's a point where you have to hire other people.
Right.
And that can be a challenge. And one of the things that I hear from a lot of entrepreneurs that I know is, you know, this would be great if it weren't for the people. You have great people working for you.
I do.
You do. So how did that evolve?
I think that when you take good care of your employees, well, not only you love them, but you love their kids. Because you have to think, these people are spending 8-10 hours a day with you. That's a lot of time. And they're making your life easy. So over the years, so I have one employee who's been with me 13 years. The rest have been there 9, 8, I mean, most of them have been there a long time. So I really try to honor them and their families, whoever it is, whatever the situation is. So we have a lot of ESL employees, and sometimes we have a girl that's gone now. She won't be back to the end of summer. Her job is still there. So I don't have to. I choose to honor people where they stand. And if she wants to go home and be with her family for 6 months, I'm going to allow that. And if you take care of folks, pay them a good wage, treat them with dignity and respect, they're going to work hard. And they will be faithful. So my staff, as far as production is concerned, I don't worry about a thing. They've nailed it. Admin, I have admin support that is phenomenal. If they weren't, I couldn't be here today sharing my little story with you folks. They work hard and they are just phenomenal employees. I don't have one that I probably wouldn't give the shirt off my back to. Not one. I know them, I know their kids, and I know their spouses. I know them. And I like that. I like knowing their lives outside of, there's a line that is never crossed, but on the flip side of that, I get to know their lives. And there's more to them than what's inside of that bakery. And it's my responsibility to know what that is.
How do you get to know that? You know.
Years of being around folks and talking to them and knowing people's names. There's places where people work, they don't even know their employees' names. I think that's terrible. And then they'll say, Deb, can I go take my child to the doctor tomorrow? She has a sore throat. Sure. Well, the next day I'm going to ask about how that baby's doing. And how old is that child? And sometimes the kids come in and they'll come to pick their parent up or whatever. I don't know. And I get to know the kids. And when's your birthday? I don't forget those things. It's honoring people. And I think that I have ability to do that. That makes my staff stick with me and work hard. And they have done it for years. For years.
All your productions here in Tacoma then?
Mm-hmm. It's in Lakewood. We have moved to Lakewood. We've been there about 1.5 years now.
What's the future look like 10 years out?
Oh, that's such a good question. I'm praying that Nabisco's going to call me and say, look at here, you got something we want. Or someone, because I'm building this business to sell it. I am building this business to sell it. I have one child who has no interest. He's got his own gig. He's doing great. So I'm really building it to sell it. And then maybe I'll do something else. So that's what 10 years looks like for me.
I might have a buyer for you.
I'm glad to hear it.
So I have a question. It says you're making cookies that taste great, but how do you know?
Taste it.
You taste it yourself? I mean, how
If
does
I
your
never eat another cookie again, I'll be okay. But I have somebody like this gentleman right here. I have friends and family, and And I'm happy to share these with you folks today. Yeah, right. What am I doing? I got to pick up on the cues, right? So this product here is the product that I started with Friday's Cookies. And I'm still so proud of these cookies. I mean, and you can find them in grocery stores here locally, basically. And we sell some of the dough in grocery stores. This product here is the Bite Me line. I also am 50% owner of a company called Seattle Shortbread, which is a gluten-free line that does really well.
That's the guy in Lakewood.
That's Jim Sola owns the other half. Maybe you know him.
I run into him somewhere.
Okay.
He was making shortbread and he was exporting it around the
Oh
world.
my God.
Well, and so and I'm, that might be cranberry coconut maybe.
That's the cranberry.
Sure.
Do you employ socially disadvantaged?
Do I employ whom?
Socially disadvantaged.
I will hire anyone who is willing to work. Anyone who's willing to work. It's hard to find people who really want to work hard and don't mind standing on their feet. It's not easy work. It's not the easiest work. But I'll hire anyone who, when we need employees, we don't discriminate. Period end of story against any. So that is our whole wheat shortbread, which is really nice too. So.
My grandson is gonna love it.
Oh, great.
Why didn't you, when you bought
Bite Me?
Bite Me,
Mm-hmm.
what's called the Tasty Cakes?
Tasty cakes.
Right. Why didn't you just kind of try and add these into the line and kind of grow your own Friday brand without,
That's a very good question. At the time, Friday's Cookies is my baby. I wasn't ready to pull them together, My bookkeeper wanted me desperately to do that. And it took me some years. What I do now is they have separate labels, but they are under one tax ID number now, one bank account. But they're two different worlds to me. And Friday's Cookies to me is so phenomenal. And I'm still trying to grow that business. I'm still growing it, I should say. And I just haven't. So I just have not.
It also gives you multiple pathways into places.
That's true.
Someone may love Friday's Cookies and that's your pathway in, and you can bring this other product line in the side.
That's true.
Yeah. What about selling your company? So when you sell it, is Friday's Cookies in that? Or
Everything. My plan is just to sell the business. Mm-hmm.
And how would you kind of do that without, not to sound like really weird, but
No.
betray your employees, I guess, I don't mean to be like.
No. That's
I'm not like trying to paint you as bad.
well, no. That's a good question because what happens to them?
Right.
What happens to them? Would the company keep them on? I don't know. So my responsibility to my employees are to take damn good care of them today and tomorrow. But next Thursday, if I sell, I will sit down and discuss that with them and let everybody know what the outcome is. I would not keep anything from them, but my responsibility is for the last 13 years that Radhika has worked for me to take very good care of her, and that's what I've done. Companies get bought and sold all the time.
Right.
Yeah, what I did in transition like that was do everything to make sure that my employees had an opportunity
To work for the new employer.
And then they had to, shine on their own, but I could do that part for them.
Right, and I would be certainly willing to do that.
So
Maybe
why did you move to Lakewood? And the ulterior motive to that question is, how much did the King County or Tacoma
Right.
changing in rules and laws drive your thoughts?
Well, that's a good question. We moved there for a few reasons. One was we needed a larger space. I could not find the space here in Tacoma. I'm sure there was space everywhere in Tacoma, but when we were looking, we just couldn't find it. And secondly, Lakewood, Tacoma's fantastic. I've worked in Tacoma for many, many years, had my business here for many, many years. But I found that there was something about the Lakewood, the community there. They are just soaking up small businesses. And they will go out of their way for small businesses. I'm not saying Tacoma will not, but I'm saying at that time, I found that Safeway. Lakewood really opened their arms up to us. Safeway must want my cookies. I think, matter of fact, we just met with them. So they must be talking about me. That they offered us something that Tacoma wasn't at the time. And so I kind of jumped on it.
Did you work through their economic development, Rebecca, or did you go
I-
right to a building?
Well, I know them very well there, and I have worked with them in the past, but my realtor found this space for me in Lakewood. Yeah, it wasn't through Economic Development Council there. My realtor found it, and then I became very acquainted with them because I felt that it was my place to let people know I'm coming, I'm here, this is who we are, and they were phenomenal, and they have been.
How did you build your confidence? I know just for me, I've been slowly trying to be able to be like, you know what, instead of talking about this,
Let's
I'm
do
gonna
it.
do it, right?
Right.
So for somebody to, work at a sheriff department and then be like,
I'm gonna make cookies.
I'm gonna make cookies and I'm gonna be badass about it, I'm gonna go do it. How did you kind of mentally prep yourself, and how are you able to, look at Joe and be like, you know what? I know that, I know what I'm doing, even if you really did it, or going to the Costco place and you had that kind of confidence. How did you kind of build that up to?
Certainly my faith is a huge foundation of, I believe, where I am today. But secondly, I believe that if you speak your truth and stand in it, that people will meet you where you stand. And there's never been a doubt in my mind that my product was phenomenal. But there's a lot of times that people say, no, we already have something like this. And I'm like, no, you don't. But that's okay. I can't wear it so close to my heart that it would allow me not to go to the next person. I had to, and I'm still doing it every day, going from customer to customer to customer. Now, and that can be that can kind of shoot you down a little bit, the no's. But boy, when you get a yes, and when people honor you, and they put it out front in their stores, and they're making big displays, that takes care of 500 no's that I received. It just does. Yeah.
So how do you sell it? You said that instead of having a storefront,
Right.
you call. I mean, if you call me and say, "Hey, I got this cookie," he goes, "Yeah, right."
Right. And then I'd say to you, let me send you some samples.
Okay.
Let me send you samples. And then I would track the samples. The very next day, I'd call you back and go, how were they? And then you'd say, oh, they're still on the dock. I go get them. I'm going to wait. I mean, you have to put yourself in the position that as if you're right in their face. That's okay. Go get them. I'll wait. You have time? And they'll go, well, yeah, sure. Hold on. And then they'll taste them and go, these aren't bad. And I go, hey, they have a 100-day shelf life. They're all natural. Then I go into my spill. And your customer base, this product is perfect for them. And that's how I start my sales.
So not knowing the business acumen and all that kind of stuff, you kind of, from your story, you kind of jumped into it. Then you have a product. How do you know what price point to sell it at to still make money?
Well, that's a good question. So you figure out what it costs to produce it.
Cost of goods.
Right. Then you have your variable cost and your fixed costs, and then you start there. And once you know what it costs to produce one item, then you can determine what to sell it for. And then the store is going to probably mark it up another 50% or so. But my prices, I believe, are fair in connection with the fact that they're all natural. I mean, I have to think of all those things. Our butter is right from Dairy Gold. Our flour is as local as it can be. I mean, we really strive to get great local goods in our products. And people say, well, they could be cheaper if you cut back on the butter, or if you cut the butter with a little margarine. We would never consider it. It's just not up for debate. So when you come to terms with the price of your product, there is a market for a cookie that costs $1.50. I mean, that's what they used to cost. There's a market for it. You just have to tap into that market. And once you tap into it and you learn your market, you're fine.
So who is your market? Because there's a lot of, you go to Safeway and down this aisle number 6, I mean, you got Oreos and,
My favorite.
and mine too, double snap, yeah. I mean, it's,
Now you couldn't say that. I could say that, but you can't say that.
no, this is good. But, I mean, there must be, to me, gourmet, right? Or
High
niche?
end.
High end.
So that's a good question. Know your market. Now, I would have thought Safeway, Albertsons, Fred Meyer's will never buy my product because my market is Whole Foods, PCC, the Metropolitan Markets of the world. That's my market. But over the last few years, Safeway's called, Fred Meyer's probably our biggest account, Kroger. They call us because they recognize that their customer base also wants to put great natural products in their body. So although you may eat an Oreo or I may eat one, there are a lot of people that just won't eat that stuff. They're like, there's no way, hydrogenated fats and dietary oils, I'm not gonna do it. I'm looking for something natural. And so the shopper at Safeway, Albertsons, Fred Meyer's, they are also reading labels as well. So now we sell across the board to all of those stores. We are, for Safeway and Albertsons, we're doing a 10-pack versus a 12-pack in this whole wheat organic shortbread. Actually, it's gonna be another shortbread I have. But that eliminates some of the costs. I can bring my costs down by just cutting out 2 cookies out of the pack. So you just have to think kind of outside of the cookie world and how am I going to sell this stuff. Put yourself in the position of the buyer in the store. Put yourself in the position of the consumer.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I guess I'm just kind of confused on why did they help you?
Why did who help
Why
me?
did your company? Why did I keep forgetting the name?
Peggy Cinnamon Rolls or Bite Me?
Bite me. Why? You know.
They're smart, and I'll tell you, and I feel the same way. There's enough room out there for everybody. If you wanted to start a cookie company, I'm going to help you. There is enough room out there for all of us, and they understood that. They understood that more than they probably understood anything. They're like, we're going to help you not make the mistakes we made. That's awesome. That's just good business practice and good people. There is enough room out there for everyone in my industry, hands down, in most industries.
I have to run and teach.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Two kind of very different questions. One is your ingredients, you strive for local, 100% local?
We strive.
Okay,
We do.
awesome.
We really work hard on that.
And then the other one, how does the minimum wage debate and all those discussions affect your business?
Well, it did affect our business quite a bit. I hire bakers that don't have experience because I need them to do it the way that we will teach them in our facility. So we generally will pay about $1 above minimum wage right now. But when the minimum wage, when it changed, I gave everybody in our facility a raise. Everyone got a raise because there are people that were making probably $11 an hour, and then maybe there's someone who'd been there a couple years making $12.50 or $13 an hour. That just didn't seem fair to me. I didn't have to do that, but everyone in our company got a raise when the minimum wage went up. And our goods went up. Our price point went up. The cost of goods went up. Our price point to our markets went up as well. And so everyone has taken the brunt of the minimum wage increase. Do I think that people need a livable wage? Absolutely. So, and you know what? It hasn't affected us one bit. We had a price increase across the board. Minimum wage went up, cost of goods went up, and it's kind of evened itself out.
So what's your story? I mean, you go out there and sell the cookies, but there's a lot of companies now going forward that they use some of the proceeds to give back to
Yes.
the community. Did you do
Yes,
that with yours?
absolutely. So we have, if our website is bitemeinc.cc, for crying out loud. Who has a .cc? But that allows me to give back to another country every single cookie that we sell to kids that need something. Even locally, we donate cookies all over this county every day. Every week we're donating at either some church, some nonprofit, for-profit organizations. We donate a lot of product. We just donated cases and cases of product to local food bank. And we don't donate anything that we wouldn't consume ourselves. So we would never give anything that's expired or close to expiration date. We only donate products that we would consume ourselves, period, end of story.
So why do you do that? Like, no, I'm not like, oh, why, but like, what?
Well, because there's a very thin line between the person at a food bank and me. I could be there in 30 days. Who knows? Who knows? And I would want someone to give me something good and fresh. So I put myself in the position of other folks, and that's specifically why is that I believe that there's a thin line, and it could be me, and it could be a family member of mine, or it could be anyone. It could be you. And why wouldn't I want to give you my best? Yeah.
So in your philanthropy, rather than giving money to some organizations, you give product.
We give a lot of product, but we do give cash as well. We donate cash as well. There are a few places that local here that we have a commitment to. Matter of fact, there's a couple college students that we don't pay their tuition, but we will buy all of their books.
How do you, over the years, how have you built your team of professionals?
By having them much smarter than I am.
Because we met him, it was through somebody else.
Yes, and so, and Joe's been wonderful. I always strive to surround myself with people who are smarter than I am. And I don't have a problem with that one bit. And because I've done that, my business has grown tremendously. They have great ideas. They're just, they know baking perhaps, or they're amazing bookkeepers. I've got an amazing accountant. I've got people who that are mentors, that are phenomenal, that I can say, hey, this happened, what do you think? And I want to go this route. And they'll say, no, think about it. What would happen if you did this? And 9 times out of 10, they're absolutely right. They are absolutely right. I hold this product and business so close to my heart that it's very easy to get your feelings hurt. And when you bounce it off of someone who's kind of on the outside looking in, they can give you a whole new perspective that will probably work in your favor 10 times better. And that's what I've done. But I have never had a problem surrounding myself with people who are just smart, brilliant.
How did you kind of find or hire those people that could, that match up with your personality, or match up with the opposite of your personality, but that you guys can still work together and someone's not just whatever you say being, mean or, creating a negative environment?
I think that when we interview folks, they kind of get a vibe of our culture, and we are a Christian-based business. I'm that before I'm anything else. Before I'm a baker, entrepreneur, I'm a Christian woman. And I think people get a sense of that in our interviews. They learn our culture. It's work hard, play hard, have a good time at work. I don't expect them to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. Our culture there is family first, not this job. Period, end of story. Not once have I had anyone ever take advantage of that. But that certainly is our culture. And people like to hear that. If you have a problem at home, stay home. We'll be okay. Because if you die, I'm going to still bake cookies. So you take care of your family before you come here in the morning. Make sure that you do that. And people, they appreciate that. And when people know that they're appreciated, I think that makes a huge difference as well. So any chance I get, I try to honor my staff some way, somehow. Other than paying them a salary, that's nothing. When you can honor people and just show them how much you appreciate them, it goes a long way.
So what keeps you up at night now?
A lot. I don't sleep very well.
Uh-oh.
With the growth we've had in any company, it's just not ours. I mean, you have situations happen that are not great. We've had a few things this year that have been tough. And so it's usually my business. And sometimes it's difficult to turn my mind off. I have found that I sleep better away from home. So there are many times that I will travel just so I can get some rest. Yeah.
I haven't seen your numbers or know about your numbers, but with the business growth, a lot of times entrepreneurs see the growth and ego becomes their amigo. It seems like you understand what your purpose is, and you're very down to earth. How do you keep that in check?
Never let that get in the way.
Yeah, how do you keep that in check?
Well, I am very proud to say that we're more than $1 million, more than $2 million business. We're doing well. I'm very proud to say that. But the fact of the matter is tomorrow could be a different day. Let somebody eat something and get sick. It's all over the news. We're done. So I pray for humility all the time, because you can get in yourself and start buying fancy cars and da-da-da. That's just not who I am. I've never been that person. So I definitely pray for humility. And I think for a black girl from the hilltop of Tacoma that started a cookie business and has done as well as we have. And it's very interesting that I will say that, because normally I'll say, well, how do you measure success? People say, you're so successful. I'm like, well, how do you measure it?
Right.
But if I'm real truthful with myself and I put humility aside for about 10 seconds, we have done well. We have done well. But I have to pray for humility. I have to be true to what's really around me, and that's taking care of people. It's not about me or the cookie. It's employing people in the community and letting them be able to sleep at night knowing they're going to have a job tomorrow morning.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you gotta. I'm an analytical guy. I'm trying to figure out that formula. I mean, it seems like it's people. You give them a purpose of why they should come to work, and then it seems like everything else takes care of itself.
It really does. Yeah. I believe that it does. And again, if you treat people with dignity and respect, you're going to get it back.
Right.
You put out there what you want to receive in the world. It's just that, what do they call it, that whole law of attraction. I believe that. I really do. And I don't talk about what I do for folks. I do what I say I'm going to do. I do what I've said to you today. It's not something I'm just trying to, I mean, you guys love the product. It's not even about me. It's about that. So I don't have to snowball anyone over. I'm sorry.
We love you first.
Oh, thank you.
A lot of, actually, I think all of the successful entrepreneurs that have came in here have talked about religion and faith and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, my mom was Christian, my dad was Jewish, like, not interested in it, right?
That's okay.
Like I have a belief, but it's not, you know.
That's okay.
And so, how can you still kind of have that atmosphere while not having the religion portion of it in there?
So my dad is a Mormon, or he was. He's passed away, which is very uncommon for an African American. I come from a Christian background, but my dad was a Mormon, and so how does that all play together? What am I going to do? What am I going to be? So for me, it's just what I found to be the truth, and I use that as my foundation. Your truth may be something, it may be beautiful flowers, I don't know. But when you decide that you are going to be good to people and be a good person and do the best that you can do in business, who's not going to love that? Who is not going to love that? It's about who you are. It's not about who you worship. That may not be your thing. For me, it is. But I don't love you any less because you're not what I am. Who cares? All I want you to do is the best you can do in your business, and it will grow. And believe it, and see it in your mind. So what you see, you can bring to fruition. I believe that. I speak things into existence. I believe it, I believe it, I believe it. I said one day I'll have $1 million business. Boom. $1 million is not a lot of money. Let's make that very clear. But I said that to myself. I will have $1 million business one day. I will have $1 million business one day. I will employ people one day. People will count on this business to employ themselves. I tell my staff, I don't want you to rent an apartment. I want you to own a home. I believe that. Most of my employees own their own homes. That's what I want for them. So I believe that if you speak it into existence, it can happen for you.
Well, thank you so much.
Yep.
Your time's up. But you know what I liked about your talk is that you didn't come in with theories and numbers that you learned at MBA school. I mean, a true American. I mean, what a story. Because I don't know. I mean, I just started making cookies.
Yeah. I just believed it could happen.
Yeah, and I thank you so much.
Oh, this was great. You guys had great questions. My goodness.